Unlocking your true potential through emotional intelligence. Imagine a world where you're not just surviving but thriving, where every day feels like an adventure because you're fully engaged in your life. A world where you're not just a spectator but an active participant, making the most out of each moment. This isn't a dream or a fantasy. It's within your reach, but it requires unlocking your true potential through emotional intelligence. Let me tell you this. Emotional intelligence is not just about being aware of your feelings. It's about harnessing those feelings to make informed decisions and connect deeply with others. Here's something you should know. The more emotionally intelligent you become, the more opportunities you'll unlock, and the happier and more fulfilled you'll feel. You might be wondering, how do I start? Well, let's dive into some real-life examples that can help us understand what emotional intelligence means and why it's so crucial. Take, for instance, the story of Dr. Amy Cuddy. She's a social psychologist who conducted groundbreaking research on body language and its impact on stress levels. One of her studies involved women who were about to give a presentation at a conference. Some of them stood in a way that made their bodies appear taller and more confident, while others maintained their usual posture. The results were fascinating. The women who adopted the power pose beforehand showed lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, during the presentation, felt more confident, and performed better. Here's something you should know. This study highlights the power of nonverbal communication, which is deeply intertwined with emotional intelligence. Now let's talk about emotional intelligence in a personal context. I remember when I was going through a tough time in my career. I was feeling overwhelmed by deadlines, underappreciated and stressed beyond belief. My boss was always busy, and it seemed like no matter how hard I worked, there was never enough recognition. I was stuck in a cycle of negative emotions, and my performance began to suffer. Then, I learned about the concept of self-awareness, which is one of the 4 key components of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness involves understanding your emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and values. After recognizing my own emotional state, I decided to take a step back and reflect on my behavior. It dawned on me that my anxiety was fueling my stress, and I needed to address it head-on. So I started practicing mindfulness exercises and journaling to gain insight into my thoughts and feelings. Gradually, I began to recognize patterns in my reactions to certain situations. I realized that I was reacting impulsively, and that I needed to learn how to manage my emotions more effectively. Here's something you should know. Developing self-awareness is a powerful tool that helps you identify areas for improvement and makes you more resilient in the face of challenges. Another essential aspect of emotional intelligence is empathy. Empathy involves understanding and sharing the feelings of others. This skill is invaluable in both personal and professional relationships. For example, imagine you're in a meeting with colleagues, and someone expresses frustration about a project that's falling behind schedule. If you have empathy, you'll be able to see things from their perspective and offer support or solutions instead of dismissing their concerns. Empathy helps build stronger connections and fosters a positive work environment. Here's something you should know. Studies show that empathetic leaders inspire higher levels of employee engagement and productivity. Emotional intelligence also plays a significant role in leadership. Leaders who are emotionally intelligent can inspire their teams to achieve great things. Take the example of Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. He's known for his ability to connect with employees on a personal level and foster a culture of inclusivity and innovation. Nadella's approach is rooted in emotional intelligence. He recognizes that fostering an inclusive environment starts with listening to and valuing the diverse perspectives of his team members. Here's something you should know. According to a Harvard Business Review article, companies with higher emotional intelligence scores tend to perform better financially and have better employee retention rates. Now, let's talk about another crucial component of emotional intelligence: self-regulation. Self-regulation involves managing your emotions, impulses, and behaviors in a constructive manner. Imagine you're working on a project with a tight deadline, and you suddenly receive an urgent call from home. If you lack self-regulation, you might get distracted, lose focus, and potentially miss important information. However, if you have self-regulation skills, you can maintain composure, prioritize tasks, and stay focused on your goals. Here's something you should know. The ability to regulate your emotions is critical in high-pressure situations, whether they're personal or professional. To develop self-regulation, it's helpful to practice techniques like deep breathing, meditation, and setting boundaries. These tools allow you to manage stress and stay centered, even in challenging circumstances. For example, when I faced a particularly stressful situation recently, I took a few minutes to practice deep breathing exercises. It helped me regain my composure and approach the problem with a clearer mind. Here's something you should know. Regular practice of these techniques can significantly improve your ability to manage stress and stay focused. Finally, let's discuss the importance of social skills. Social skills involve interacting effectively with others, building relationships, and communicating clearly. In today's fast-paced world, having strong social skills can make all the difference. Whether you're networking at a business event or collaborating with colleagues, effective communication is key. For instance, imagine you're attending a networking event and you meet someone interesting. Instead of just introducing yourself and walking away, you engage in meaningful conversations, ask thoughtful questions, and listen actively. This approach builds rapport and opens up new possibilities for collaboration. Here's something you should know. Studies show that people who excel in social skills tend to have better job satisfaction and higher income. In conclusion, emotional intelligence is not just a buzzword. It's a practical skill that can transform your life. By developing self-awareness, empathy, self-regulation, and social skills, you can unlock your true potential and lead a more fulfilling life. Remember, emotional intelligence is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and effort, but the rewards are immeasurable. So, let's commit to becoming more emotionally intelligent today. Start small and gradually build your skills. Practice mindfulness, express gratitude, and seek feedback from trusted friends and colleagues. You'll be amazed at how much progress you can make. Remember, the journey towards emotional intelligence is unique to each individual. What works for one person may not work for another. Embrace your own path, and don't be afraid to experiment with different strategies until you find what resonates with you. The most important thing is to keep learning and growing. Here's something you should know. The more you invest in your emotional intelligence, the more opportunities you'll have to create a life that aligns with your values and passions. In the end, the goal is not just to unlock your potential, but to live a life that is truly fulfilling. By mastering emotional intelligence, you'll be able to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. So, go ahead, take that first step towards becoming the best version of yourself. You've got this.